Christopher,
Robert.
did you see the pitch last night from Dustin May?
I did not.
It's I think a 99 mile per hour two-seamer, Manny Machado. I think it almost hit Machado's back hip by the time he was swinging. It was close. But somebody was just asking me about, how long did it look like a strike? And I wanted to dig into that with you.
Oh, I did see this.
You seeing this? You see the –
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
what I saw with this, first of all, I actually responded to Pitching Ninja, and I just wrote no.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
So May is nasty, right? He's lanky. He's got the red hair. He's got the whole thing going on. The question was, how long did it look like a strike? So I think, first of all, the pitch is disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mean pitch. 99 with that kind of movement is just not. It's not crazy. I think the camera angle makes it look worse than it is to an extent.
They always do, yeah.
Because he's off the side. So that pitch was supposed to finish middle, which means he had to finish more across to make it run back. But this one, he just kind of let off to the side. What would you see as a hitter looking at this pitch? What would your where would your sights need to be set? It's not a strike. He missed right. The inside corner by a foot. Look where the circle is for the ball. So how do you not swing at this pitch?
So one of the things that I always talk to young hitters about, because they're just predominantly not used to seeing two-seamers, sinkers, anything that runs inward. So that's how you get guys that the first time they face sinker ballers, they'll face a guy who's throwing 82 and just has a little bit of arm side run or whatever you want to call it. And by and large, they take the most comfortable 0 for 4 they've ever had with 4 ground balls to the pull side.
Yeah. This is the one that makes it scary. This is the one that makes it scary because he's got the cutter to complement it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
so you think Machado's swinging at the cutter, and then
it's
not a cutter.
It's almost hard to say which one he was swinging at. Theoretically, my brain would tell me that he started swinging as if it was a cutter or a four-seamer. I don't know if May uses four-seamers in his repertoire a lot, but the point of the story is, what I talk to young hitters about all the time is your heart is telling you one thing and your brain's telling you another, or I guess not your heart, but your eyes. So you have to convince your brain that your eyes are lying. That's a really, really hard thing to do. Most people have a tendency, especially in reactionary things, to trust their eyes, right? You see a car coming at you, you jump out of the way. Somebody throws a projectile at your face, you move, right? Those are all reactions. And because hitting is still very much a reaction because of the short period of time, you put a lot of faith in your eyes. But when you're going up to face a guy like this, just like any other power sinker baller that's throwing 96, 97, 98, you have to convince yourself before you get in the box that you're looking for a pitch that starts halfway across the other box. And that's incredibly difficult to do because your whole life you've been telling yourself, look for something over the plate. And now all of a sudden you're telling yourself to look for a pitch that starts as a ball.
I remember having a conversation with you about Kluber, that if it starts on the plate, it's going to be a ball, and if it starts off the plate, it's going to be a strike. And convincing your brain that you need to swing at balls and take strikes in the time frame. I think that the part that makes it so devastating is that it's 99.
Yeah.
Because Machado probably sees fastball, maybe middle third.
Yeah.
Maybe
there's no question he thinks if he's swinging at this, he thinks he can beat it to wherever it's going. But obviously because it's on the arm side too, the ball's going to actually have more action on it than if it were a glove side two-seamer. So if he was going to the outer third of home plate, that ball's just by nature, it's not going to have as much action on it because the hand had to come across it somehow. But anything that's to the arm side is just going to have more. So I would have liked to seen the sequence in the at-bat to see what led to that pitch, which I didn't, obviously.
Even May's reaction to the pitch, I think the way he just turned around right there,
yeah,
that to me is saying I missed my spot. That's not what I meant to throw, but I got away with it. So let's go to the dugout.
But that's why the game has searched for guys that have 99 in the tank, or 98 or 97 or 96, because obviously the more velocity you have, when you do miss, the better chance you have of getting away with it. So it's just one of those things where
the initial question was, how long was it a strike? And my answer is going to be long enough.
Yeah, definitely long enough, especially because
I throw 99, long enough.
When you're facing guys that throw that hard, if the idea is in your head that a 4-seamer is in play or that a 2-seamer with not that much run is in play, with 2 strikes, like, you want to try to hit the ball back in the zone to give yourself the most time so that you can fight some stuff. The hard part is how do you not react the way he did to a ball that's on the inner third? Because naturally, as a hitter, when the ball gets to the inner third, you want to go get it out in front, which is partially why in today's game, the inside changeup has become fashionable, which I used to think of it as a video game pitch. You only throw it in video games because you're trying to get a guy to go, oh my God, it's an inside fastball, and try to leave it a little bit, and then all of a sudden it's a changeup. So where 20 years ago it was voodoo to throw a changeup on the inner third of the plate, because if you hung it, it was a homer. You know what I mean? How long is this pitch a strike? It's tough to say. And it really depends on your perspective as a hitter. I think if you know, like if you face this guy 4, 5, 7, 10 times already, then you have a pretty good idea that it's not going to be a strike out of his hand. But like if it's the first time you're facing him, there's a really good chance that you're looking at this thing and going, this pitch is right down the middle. If anything, it might even be, outer third of home plate, because the cross action, and I was actually talking to my nephew about this the other night. Another thing young hitters aren't used to is even just seeing the first lefties that they see that have a little run. And I watched my nephew take 2+ count, 3-1, a 3-1 and a 2-0, 2-seam fastball that was on the outer third of home plate. And then he ended up getting himself into situations where he had to swing at a bad 3-2 pitch and a bad 2-2 pitch. And he goes, yeah, I didn't know his ball was going to have that much run. And I said, well, you're going to have to learn sometime. And I said, it's not your fault because you haven't seen it yet, but you have to know that going into the at-bat. Like if this guy's going to a Division I school to pitch, like you have to know going into the at-bat that the ball's working away from you. And because you hit the ball the other way so well, like that should play to your favor. You don't want the ball chasing you. And he goes, what does it mean for the ball to chase you? And I said, and I'm going to send him this clip today to show him what it means for the ball's chasing you.
Yeah. And this is where like major league players have, advanced scouting reports, access to video of every pitch these guys have ever thrown. But watching guys warm up, are they going like this or are they going like this?
Yeah.
They're telling you what type of pitch you're trying to throw. Watching guys warm up in the bullpen, don't be passive about it. Talking to your teammates between at bats in the dugout. Like if you come back to dugout and be like, this dude's got some nasty run, you have to aim a foot inside. That's a conversation that's very valuable to every single guy that's coming up with that after you. So
one of my favorite things to look at, to your point, and you're picking out things in the pitcher and how they're warming up. I would look at the catcher when the pitcher's warming up, because I want to see how the catcher's glove's moving. So as you can see right here, if a catcher's catching a ball like this, that means he's set up here. And now even if he stays there for a second and has to go this way, that means the ball ran on him. Because if it didn't run on him a lot, he'd be able to beat it by holding his glove in a true framing position. Like there's no part of him that's trying to frame this ball because he knows it's going to run too much. He'd have a broken thumb if he tried to catch this ball the right way. And the question of like, how long is it a strike for? Watching the catcher receive this pitch, he just kind of like reaches out. So is it nastier than what he's expecting from May? Or is it just on a different plane and it looks weirder because it's arm side and the camera angles from the... Yeah, I think it's probably a little bit of both, right?
Yeah, it's definitely nasty.
Yeah, I mean, my assumption is just watching the way he's setting up. So he goes left foot and he sets up the glove to the bottom part of the zone, right? So he's trying to throw a sinker ball that, a lot of these guys that have power sinkers, like power sinkers, we're talking 96 and up. And it's funny because I was talking to Aaron Sanchez yesterday, speaking of power sinkers, and he was sending me some video of his most recent bullpens. I'm glad that he's healthy. But most guys that have power sinkers like this, they're really hard to control. Like it's not like you're just throwing a ball up against a wall. So catchers, and especially guys that I played with, would say, hey, catcher, set up in the middle of home plate. We're just going to let the ball do its thing. Because if I come close, I'm probably going to get a swing and miss.